And we are live. Good Thursday evening, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. You are listening to Saving Money Unapologetically with your host, PG. That is me. Yes, 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 y'all. Coming to you live this evening. Hope all is well. Like I said, again, let's make this Thrifty Thursday. Thrifty Thursday. That's what it's going to be. Anyway, guys and gals, boys and girls, um, don't overbuy and help spread economic pain. That is tonight's topic. Don't overbuy and help spread economic pain. We all know that we have a new person in the White House. Well, we have new people in the White House, and we have one that is the richest person in the world that is more than likely calling all of the shots. And then we have the one that was sworn in, of course, without his hand on the Bible as the president of the United States of America. But that is neither here nor there. Let's get down to the nitty gritty, and I want to give you some facts tonight so that you walk away um, informed, because misinformation and disinformation and ill-informed individuals got us to this point right now where we are in our nation's um, onslaught of economic pain that we all will be facing quite soon. So with that being said, I have several things on the screen in the pictures that I clipped. Um, the first one being eggs. As we all know, the bird flu has been around and has really hit our poultry farmers since 2022, I think. Yeah, I think it was 2022, or maybe the end of 2021, but it is now 2025, and it has got increasingly worse over the years, causing a widespread infection rate where poultry farmers have been suffering because they have had to do massive cleaning, scrubbing barns, scrubbing the chicken coops and the facilities and what have you, putting down, euthanizing so many of their birds until it's truly sad. And then they basically have to start all over again, and it takes anywhere from 2.5 to 4 or 5 months um, to have new product. And then there's reinfections occurring every day. So, with that being said, it has caused a shortage of eggs. And with the shortage of eggs happening, you know that something that's in short supply but has a high demand, prices rise. They do not stay the same. And it is very unfortunate with the proposed, with the tariffs that are uh, in place now and ones that will be taking effect in the next few days, weeks, months, going down the line. We are facing a lot of economic uncertainty. And yes, prices will rise, unfortunately. But I want to give a little um, information where a lot of times we as humans and we as just ordinary everyday people will tend to think about the uncertainty of our future and the uncertainty of whether or not you will be able to readily afford to purchase certain products and food items and what have you that you've always been able to purchase thus far. So when we look at it that way, we can't help but to figure out a plan of action. And most people's strategy plan would be to hoard, panic buy, overbuy, run in the stores and wipe off the shelves. And what that does is it causes the store's shelves to become bare, semi-empty, and then the stock levels decline even faster because one, they're traveling by truck, rail car, semi-trailer, however they're being shipped in or whatever. So the retailer buys the product, fronts up the money, and then you, the consumer, or we, the consumer, comes in and helps the retailer pay its bills by purchasing the products that we need for our everyday daily living. But when we have massive buying by the consumer that is in the abnormal levels of purchasing, such as one person purchasing, let's just say 20 dozen of eggs. And then I come into that same store and purchase another 20 dozen. Then I tell my neighbor across the street, and then I tell my coworker or my good friend, and they go in and they purchase each 10 more dozen of eggs. Now, what they're doing with it, no, they don't have a restaurant. Let's just picture this. Let's just take a minute and picture what's going on and what I'm trying to bring across to you. My neighbor is going to freeze their eggs and then put them in a skillet as they need to cook scrambled eggs and make an omelet or whatever they plan to do with them. The coworker is going to boil a bunch of her eggs, and then she also has family members that were not able to get to the store, so she's going to give off several dozens of her eggs that she purchased. She's going to spread it around. Some are going to pay her back for it and some are not. But nevertheless, she's going to distribute some eggs. She may carry some to Sick and Shed In with her church or whatever. So then Trader Joe's shelves are bare. And I didn't need any eggs. I had 2 dozen of eggs myself. And then 2 weeks go by, and then I take a stroll over to the Trader Joe's where I normally purchase my eggs. This is hypothetical. And I can't find any. Or I find some, but they are $9 a dozen. And I really don't want to pay $9 a dozen. So I decide to forego it and leave. Then I drive up the street and around the corner to the nearest Publix. And I do find some eggs, and they're $7. So I say, okay, I'm going to buy a dozen eggs. So where I would normally eat 2 eggs every 2 days or 3 days, now I'm down to eating 1 every 2 days or every 3 days, so that I can stretch that out and make that dozen basically last me almost a month or a month. Then I decide, I need to fix something for the potluck, and I'm going to make some potato salad. Well, instead of going and dipping into my coveted eggs that I just purchased with the bar of gold that I had stashed in my safe, I go over to the Kroger and I look for the cheapest dozen of eggs because I want to make potato salad, and I'm going to need at least 6 eggs for this big batch of salad to feed 20 people. So I purchased those eggs, and I get the eggs home, and I make my salad. Okay. Meanwhile, I was going to purchase a couple of more dozen and share with the elderly couple across the street, but Kroger has placed limitations on how many dozens of eggs I can buy. Not just me, but everyone coming in and out of that store. So I'm like, oh, I'll just come back because I really don't have time. And it's, they don't have that many. Then I got to go through the cartons of eggs to make sure they're not broken and all that. So I'm like, okay, I'll pass. I'll come back maybe Saturday. Well, by the time Saturday rolls around, I go into the Kroger and I could purchase 2 dozen. Now it's Saturday and you can only purchase 1 dozen per person per trip. So you see how that goes, because people have been stockpiling or hoarding eggs. Then let's move on to cooking oil, avocado oil, olive oil, grapeseed oil. That price will go up because we really don't manufacture those oils as much here locally in the States. So we are getting, especially the nice oils, they're imported. So that price is going to go up. So Publix has a sale on the Pompeian oil where it's buy one, get one. And it's like $15 for a bottle. Where last summer or last year it was $9.99 for a small bottle. So now it's 15. Buy one, get one. So I get me 2. Okay. Well, I had one that was unopened, and so now I have 3 bottles that haven't been opened yet. So that should last me about 6 to 8 months. But if I really need to, I can stretch it and try to make them last for a year, because it's just me in my household. But what about a large family? What about a family that has dietary restrictions and need to use a certain, cooking oil or cooking spray? That's not going to last. So then the next time they go to the store, they say, well, hell, I'm going to buy as much as our wallet can stand. I'm going to buy 10 bottles. Well, little old me goes to the store behind them, and there's 1 or 2 bottles left on the shelf. And the price has increased even more so. So now I can only buy 1 bottle. Then I decide, okay, I get a bonus or something and some extra cash and my side gigs and side hustles. So I had a really good week. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to purchase 2 more bottles. Well, I get to the Publix and now I can only purchase 1. You see the economic pain, how it goes. I was able to purchase a couple bottles, being mindful. Now, because someone went in there and purchased 6 and 10, and then they doubled back and got some more, and then this person had an inkling to go in and buy 5 or 6, and then this person went in, and because that's not normal. Most people will buy 1 or 2 and keep it moving. So then now the economic pain has been passed on to other consumers, on top of it being actually fueled by other consumers for panic buying and overbuying. Let's move on to meat. Okay, we have cattle farmers, we have ranchers, we have slaughterhouses, we have meat processing plants. We all know what's going on with immigration and with the labor. And they're gathering up people and forcing them to leave this country. So that's taken away from the workforce and away from those companies that actually bring the meat to our table, or the meat to the supermarket so that we can purchase it, or the meat to the butcher or the meat market or wherever you purchase your meat from. So then that raises prices because we have a limited amount of personnel in order to be able to do the work. So then we have to look and outsource some more, and then we have to train, or then we can only get a few people, and then now they know that we're in a bind, meaning the meat packing plants and the farmers and what have you, and the ranchers and the cattle farmers. Now they have to pay a premium just to be able to get a few workers to come on board in order to get those cattle shipped out to the stockyards and what have you, and then to the meat processing plants. So then the meat processing plants, once they get them there and what have you, they're being charged even more in order to process that. And then from there to bring it to market or to bring it to your local grocer, Hib, Kroger, King Supers, Fiesta Mart, Food Lion, whomever, Sam's Club, Walmart, Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, whoever sells some meat by the pack or whatever, the little thin steaks or whatever you buying for $2, $3, whatever it is, then the prices continue to rise. So then when there is a sale on beef or on chicken or whatever, I go in, I look around, and there's no limit. Well, Kroger has, let's say, boneless chicken breasts on sale for $2.99 a pound. Well, I'm going to buy two big family packs, and there's about 10 or 12 big, thick breasts in each pack. So I'm going to buy some of those. I would normally buy one pack, and that would last me for a month or two. Okay, well, I'm going to buy two. Or I might as well go on and buy three. Well, I look over and somebody got 6 big packs, throwing them in their buggy. Then somebody else rolls their buggy up to the meat cooler where the chicken is, and they grab 10. And then I go down to the dairy department, and then I go over to the produce department, and then I have to go back on that aisle, and I look over in the bin where the cooler where the chicken breasts were, and it's empty. Then I tell a friend of mine that comes over, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's a Kroger right down the street. Oh, well, you want to ride with me? Come ride with me. I want to get me a pack or two. Okay, so we go over to the Kroger again later on that evening. There's still zero in the bin. So we ask at the little butcher shop in the back of Kroger, the meat area, and the meat manager comes out and says, we just got a truck in and we only got 2 cases, and give me a minute and we'll bring some out, but there's a limit of 1 per person. You see how that goes? It just trickles down and it keeps going and going and going and going. So what I'm saying to you at this point in time is please, please, please do yourself a favor, do me a favor, do your neighbor a favor, do people that you don't know a favor, and let's not panic buy. You see, I come on periodically and I talk about stockpiling and I talk about purchasing things, buying a little at a time so that you can build and build and build. I talked about getting a small chest freezer or a small upright freezer, a deep freezer, maybe a second refrigerator if you can't afford the deep freezer, or you find a used one that's in great running condition. You know, whatever works for you, whatever works within your budget, and whatever works for you and or your family dynamics needed to be done a long time ago. I'm not saying have meat stored up in the freezer for 4-5 years, but I am saying have some stuff on hand. Vegetables, frozen fruit, frozen vegetables, frozen meats, frozen seafood, canned meats, canned seafood, canned fruit, canned vegetables. However you can get it, you should have been purchasing it. Some of the canned goods have longer shelf life. You know, they may have 3 years or so. We can ride the wave. We can ride it out. But if you have to start at ground zero, it's going to be very, very difficult. Not that it's not doable, but it will be difficult and very painful to your wallet because you're starting out at prices that are way above what the normal national average consumer has been paying if they have been doing little by little all along in the last year or two. So that's going to cause you economic pain and hardship just to even start to try to stockpile. Now it's basically damn near too late because most people can't even afford it now because things are going up every damn week, every few days. You know, I'm an avid couponer, digital couponer. I use very little, few paper coupons these days, unless they come in a circular or a flyer or magazine, or every now and again, Procter and Gamble will mail you some stuff or whatever. But for the most part, you know, I do shop with some coupons when I have them available. Or I'll use the shopping apps like Ibotta and Fetch and Swag Bucks and My Points, and to get a little extra back on the purchase. We all need to be mindful of how much we're spending, where our dollars are going, and how we're dispersing those dollars. Such as, are you buying black products, black owned businesses? If you are of color, are you helping support some of those businesses that you like those products and what have you, to help keep those products available and on the shelves? What are you doing? I'm not trying to make this a black-white thing. I'm not trying to make this a black-white Hispanic. I'm not trying to make it a black-white Hispanic Latino. I'm not trying to make it a black-white Hispanic Latino, Asian American, Filipino, African American, someone from South Africa, from wherever, Egypt, Spain, Gibraltar, France, Germany. I'm not trying to make it about that. But what are you doing with your dollars? Are you using good discernment? Are you making those dollars stretch for you and yours? Right now, it's all about how we can save, how we can tighten our belts a little bit more in order to have a little something left over, or to make ends meet on a daily, on a weekly, on a monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, however you can do it. It's now about survival of the fittest. Only the strong will survive this. Only the strong will survive. Folks, don't overbuy and help spread economic pain. That has been my topic. You have been listening to Saving Money Unapologetically with your host, PG. That is me. I'm coming here trying to give a little food for thought so that any and everyone can maybe apply, switch it up, change up, whatever, make it work for you and yours. If you are by yourself, then make it work for you. If you have a family, you got to try to help make it work for you and your family. Because everyone's wallets are different. Everyone's bills are different. The family dynamics are different. You have to do, you can tailor make things. Take some of the things that I say as suggestions, give it some thought, implement your plan of action, and move forward. Sometimes you have to tweak it as you're moving forward. You might run into a brick wall. You may run into something that, something came up and I got to turn the wheel a little bit. I got to veer over to the right, or I got to come to a slowdown. But I'm moving, but I'm just moving a little bit slower. I have to regain some traction here. It's okay. As long as you're continuing to move forward, and not backwards, you know, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Not all of us can see that light because it's shining real dim. It's dimly lit right now. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. The tunnel is long. The tunnel is tough to navigate. It's hard. It's getting harder. But we all have a stake in this. We all have to have our boots on the ground. We all have to continue to be good stewards and be mindful. Have your papers in order. Make sure you have your passports updated. Make sure you have a passport or apply for one. Make sure your driver's license is current. The real ID coming up in May. So make sure that you're changing your driver's license over to the real ID. Normally has a little star up at the top. Make sure that you have a birth certificate. Make sure that it's, certified. Make copies of these things. Go and get them notarized as being a copy of the original or what have you. However you got to do it. Put them in safe places. Make multiple copies. Have a little packet in your car under the seat, in the glove box, in your little secret hiding place, just in case. Have your shit at home. And then give those documents scanned in on a jump drive, flash drive, whatever you want to call it. If you still burning CDs or DVDs or whatever, put it on there. And give it to someone who is capable of putting it in a safe place, just in case. Maybe they'll trade and give you theirs and what have you. Put it up. This is serious, y'all. This is serious. It's been good, y'all. I just wanted to come on, give my food for thought, put a little insight as to what you can do and what not to do, how to go about some things, especially how to not everybody jump on the bandwagon and inflict more economic pain on each other by doing panic buying and hoarding of goods. Because a lot of times when we buy, we forget where we put it. It's out in the garage. It may be 255 degrees in the garage during the heat of the summer. Canned goods might burst, just different things, and then you reach for it and it's not good. You're not rotating. You got to rotate your pantry. You got to rotate the stock. As you buy more, you bring what you already have on that shelf or whatever, bring it forward. Make sure you're using that first, putting the new stuff behind so that it constantly is being used. It should be a working pantry, a eating pantry. It should be, cabinets or cupboards or whatever you want to call them. Cardboard boxes. Your Rubbermaid totes. Make sure your Rubbermaid tote pantry is a working pantry for you. The slide out drawer under the bed, if that's how you got your stuff and that's how you need to store it or whatever, and that's all the storage you have, and you have something. Pulling from that. Make sure you're rotating. Because do not let your stuff go bad. That's good hard-earned money. Whether it be hard-earned money, whether it be help with SNAP, the food stamps, whatever, from the food pantry, the food bank, the community church, whatever, wherever you got it, however you got it, don't let it go to waste. People need food. People are starving. If you have food, think about someone that may be sick and shut in. Think about someone that's longer able to necessarily cook, maybe offer them a sandwich every now and again. Carry a couple of oranges or apples or bananas over to them or something. Let's work together for the common good. Let's not work against each other in these stores and at the fruit markets and the fruit stands and the produce markets and stuff, and hoard all the stuff and panic buy. I'm not saying don't stock up. Stock up when there's sales, when there's good prices that you can afford to purchase a little extra. Buy some extra. Don't clear the shelves. Now is not the time. Well, we're at the 30-minute mark. I had planned on being on for about 30 to 45 minutes. We're doing well. I wish everyone well. We must all stay engaged, folks, as best that we can. Don't shut down. Don't crash out. Now is not the time. Stay focused. Have a plan. Plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z if you need to. And work your plan or your plans. When you have one plan that goes south, bring plan A and B to end together. Plan A and B tanking, go to C and D. Keep it moving. But if you don't have a plan of action, you don't know what in the hell it is, try to sit down with someone that can help you. Phone a friend, phone a family member, phone a coworker or something that can help you. Reach out. Now is not the time to just be walking out willy-nilly style and just doing any and everything. It is not the time. Our health is at risk. Medications, food supply, all of that is at risk. Freedom, democracy, it's all at risk. It's on the line, vanishing every damn day. Pull ourselves up and do what we need to do. Only the strong survive, y'all. Each one save one. Help each other along the way if you can. Lend a hand when you can. Do what it is you need to do that's necessary for you and yours. But please, don't panic buy. Don't overbuy. It leads to spreading more economic pain upon each other. It's been good. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening, your Thursday night, your Thursday morning, wherever you are in the world. And remember, do what it is that's best for you. Be mindful of your spending. Keep tabs on your bank accounts or account or whatever it is you have, all of your financials. Please, now is not the time to just set it and forget about it. Please look in on your financials and your documentation, your paperwork, different things, legal documents. Make certain that they're up to date. Make certain that you have copies, certifiable copies, certified copies. You got this. Stick and stay, y'all. Stick and stay. We're in it to win it. Thank you for tuning in. You've been listening to Saving Money Unapologetically with your host, PG. That is me. Have a wonderful Thursday evening. Bye now.